3.95 Dinar and 0.98 Dong, JPmorgan and Wells Fargo, drop-shocking revaluation, forecasts, RV News. Welcome back to RV News, your go-to source for the latest and most explosive updates on global currency revaluations, market shifts, and inside banking intel that the mainstream media doesn't want you to see. If you're holding Iraqi Dinar or Vietnamese Dong, or if you've been following the RV journey for any amount of time, then today's video is going to shake you to your core. We've just received absolutely mind-blowing reports from inside two of the largest banking institutions in the world, JPMorgan Chase and Wells Fargo, indicating potential revaluation forecasts that are far more aggressive than anything previously projected. Buckle up, because we're about to dive into what could be a complete game changer for currency holders worldwide. Now, before we go deeper into the latest developments, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a major RV update. This information is breaking, raw, and powerful, and we're bringing it to you real time as it comes in. What you're about to hear has not been covered on mainstream finance channels or even within many dinar forums. It's direct intel and insider commentary that could mean enormous financial implications for those prepared to act. Let's start with the most jaw-dropping numbers being floated right now. According to sources tied directly to JPMorgan's global currency desk, internal communications have begun circulating that suggest a projected rate of 3.95 USD for the Iraqi Dinar, IQD. That's right, 3.95 per IQD, a figure that eclipses the long-assumed revaluation range of 1.0 to 3.00 that many in the community have clung to for years. Simultaneously, Wells Fargo analysts have reportedly been running forecasting models that price the Vietnamese Dong, VND, as high as 0.98 USD, which is absolutely staggering when you consider its current exchange rate hovers in the range of 23,000 VND to 1 USD. The question now becomes, what is fueling these massive adjustments in rate projections? Why are institutions like JPMorgan and Wells Fargo, both of which are traditionally tight-lipped about speculative foreign currency markets, suddenly entertaining the possibility of such high-level revaluations? From what we're hearing, it has everything to do with realignment of global financial systems, de-dollarization, Basel III compliance, and sovereign debt restructuring happening behind closed doors. These forces, when combined, are creating a perfect storm that may finally push suppressed currencies like the IQD and VND into their long-awaited revaluation. Inside JPMorgan, confidential memos have allegedly been circulating between senior economists and international investment teams. These memos outline that Iraq has made significant strides in its economic reform policies, including the introduction of digitized oil credits, a gold-backed reserve strategy, and new trade settlement agreements with China, Russia, and other BRICS-aligned nations. These developments are viewed by many financial insiders as foundational to restoring the Iraqi dinar to a strong asset-backed currency status, possibly returning to pre-Gulf War values or even surpassing them. Why 3.95? That number is particularly significant because it mirrors Iraq's historical exchange rate prior to the 1990s sanctions and conflicts adjusted for modern economic growth and resource leverage. Iraq currently holds the fifth largest proven oil reserves in the world. Analysts believe that when fully monetized and strategically exported under new partnerships, Iraq's natural resources could sustain a dinar value in the range of 3.00 to 4 dollars. Additionally, JPmorgan's internal analysis reportedly suggests that Iraq is preparing to join an alternative SWIFT-like system, possibly linked to Project M-Bridge, which is already being piloted by China and several Gulf nations. Over at Wells Fargo, the attention is shifting eastward to Vietnam. For years, the Vietnamese Dong has been undervalued, primarily because of its status as an export-driven economy and historical IMF restrictions, but recent moves by Vietnam's central bank suggest a massive pivot. They've begun stockpiling gold, implementing blockchain payment solutions, and opening up sovereign wealth investment vehicles designed to attract foreign capital while maintaining monetary control. The buzz coming out of Wells Fargo's Forex team indicates that these policy shifts, combined with Vietnam's continued trade surplus and increasing role in Southeast Asian manufacturing, could warrant a revaluation up to 0.98 per VND in the coming financial year. To add more credibility to this situation, both JPmorgan and Wells Fargo are reportedly conducting internal simulations to assess the systemic impacts of these high-value RV scenarios. These simulations are not just technical exercises, they're preparing systems, infrastructure, and client advisories to be ready for a potential overnight shift in foreign currency valuations. Several branch managers and private bankers from both institutions have also allegedly received restricted training on contingency revaluation protocols, which include how to handle high-volume foreign currency exchanges, client disclosures, and wealth advisory services tailored to newly revalued currencies. While these reports are still semi-classified and not being made public in financial news circles, leaks are happening. Several whistleblowers have come forward to disclose the internal chatter and preparatory activity within the banking ecosystem. One such source, speaking anonymously, said that currency desks have been told to anticipate extreme volatility and recalibration of multiple currencies, not just the dinar or dong, as part of a wider strategic shift in global monetary policy. In other words, this isn't just about Iraq or Vietnam, it's about a total global currency reset with the dinar and dong taking early leads. But let's be realistic for a moment. There's still skepticism, and rightfully so. Many in the dinar community have experienced years of delays, false starts, and broken promises. However, what's different this time around is the scale and credibility of the institutions involved. When JPMorgan Chase and Wells Fargo, banks with trillions under management and deep influence in international finance, begin issuing high-end forecasting models for these currencies, it cannot be dismissed as rumor or speculation. It indicates a strategic shift in consensus, thinking about the future of suppressed currencies and their place in a post-dollar dominant financial world. Another key element driving this surge in revaluation forecast is the growing momentum around Basel IV implementation. While Basel III laid the groundwork for requiring banks to hold physical gold and other tangible assets as part of their Tier 1 capital reserves, Basel IV, which many believe is already being quietly enforced, emphasizes risk management on sovereign currency exposure. Countries like Iraq and Vietnam, which are moving toward asset-backed financial systems and away from fiat dependency, become prime candidates for aggressive currency reassessment under Basel compliant frameworks. We're also hearing that private exchange platforms, our HIEPs, are being activated in limited circles. These are exclusive, invitation-only opportunities where large holders of Dinar and Dong are being offered early redemption opportunities at tiered contract rates, sometimes even exceeding the projected rates of 3.95 and 0.98. One source claimed that JPmorgan is working with international groups to facilitate sovereign bond swaps using IQD and VND at premium valuations, effectively setting the precedent for a larger public revaluation in the near term. So, where does this leave everyday currency holders, those of you watching this video right now who may be holding 500K, 1M, or even more Dinar and Dong in hopes of a future payout? The advice coming from behind the scenes is to get your ducks in a row. Start speaking with a trusted financial advisor. Ensure your currency is verified and authenticated, and keep your eye on any sudden shifts in Forex activity or banking announcements. Most importantly, be ready for rapid, decisive action, because when this hits, the window of opportunity may be extremely short-lived. And there's another critical factor you need to be aware of: NDA clauses. Should the revaluation occur through structured redemption centers or bank appointments, there's a strong chance participants may be required to sign non-disclosure agreements, particularly if higher tier or contract rates are being offered. This means the chance to share or publicize your experience after the fact could be legally restricted. So stay connected to reliable intel channels like RV News, because once the NDA stage hits, the silence could be deafening. To recap, JPmorgan is now projecting a possible $3.95 rate for the Iraqi Dinar, while Wells Fargo analysts are floating a 0.98 valuation for the Vietnamese Dong. These are not arbitrary numbers. They're grounded in detailed economic analysis, sovereign monetary policy shifts, and a realignment of the global financial system that's been decades in the making. The revaluation no longer feels like a possibility. It's shaping up to be an inevitability, with only the timing left uncertain. We will continue to monitor this situation minute by minute and bring you the latest confirmations, official rate changes, and insider leaks as they unfold. If you've been waiting, watching, and hoping for the RV to finally arrive, then now is the time to be plugged in more than ever. The winds of financial change are blowing fast, and you don't want to be caught unprepared when the switches flip.